Hello everyone, welcome back to Crown Stag voiceover. My name is Neil Glasgow. So in today's video, what we're going to be talking about is what you specifically charge for voiceover. Now I've talked a little bit about what I charge for voiceover. That's not what this is going to be. This video is either going to help you out or stress you out. And I hope it is the former. But with all of that in mind, and I was told that apparently all the YouTube people say with all of that in mind, but it's a habit now. So with all of that in mind, let's get into it. Okay, so here's the premise. I'm talking to a couple of my students and they are going on about what it is that they're going to charge for various projects that they're working on. And it kind of resonates with me because when I send out my, information to clients, when I send out my demos, etc., and they go, "Great, how much do you charge for X?" Now, by and large, most of my projects start at £300 per hour, or basic studio fee is what we call it. So if you see that anywhere, basic studio fee, BSF, that's the acronym that goes out there. Now, that's quite simplistic, and this is where this might start stressing you out because there is so much nuance that goes with this. Now, say the client doesn't have the £300, maybe it's £250. Fine, you might want to work with that. But is there usage fees that go along with that? And actually, how are you calculating your usage fees? And do you, right now, understand what a usage fee is? So say you're doing a commercial, maybe it's a TV spot. Say you've landed a TV spot and you've got your basic studio fee, so your £300, and say this is going to run nationally, okay, and it's going to run for 6 months. Well, you want more than just your £300. You want maybe repeat fees for every time it's used. You might charge 100% of your basic studio fee, so just your £300 again. You might charge 400% of your basic studio fee. You might have this time limited for a month, 6 months, a year, whatever that might be as well. So there's a lot of nuance that you need to understand, and you need to understand it, and you need to have that rate card available. Okay, so that's the easy one. Having your basic studio fee, that's great. What if, as I had just yesterday, got contacted about an audiobook. Now, this audiobook was 10,700 words. Now, when I do audiobooks, I either do a per finished hour. I also charge for my editing, etc., but I'll come to that in a second. So my per finished hour is anywhere between £115 and about £150 per finished hour. My editing costs are about £30 per hour, and I can work out a cost. So I sent that off to the client. The client then comes back to me asking me about my per minute cost or my per word cost, which are different things altogether. And it's not just about breaking all that down. So if you are going to work on, say, e-learning modules or audiobooks, you might be asked about your per minute or per word. And a good rule of thumb is, for me anyway, I would keep it within a range of 50 pence or 50 cents, wherever you're watching this, down to about 10. I wouldn't go any lower than that, personally. And here's how I break that down. So if it's 0 to 1,000 words, for example, I will charge 40 to 50 pence. Depends on the client, depends on how often they're going to use me. 1,000 to 2,000, I might bring that down to 30 to 40, 2,000, 20 to 30. Anything over 2,000 words, 20 pence is where I tend to keep this. But again, depending on the client, you could bring that down. So I'd sent this all off to the client. The client comes back to me and says, and I'm telling you this because just be aware. So the client comes back to me and says, well, I have quotes at between 10 pence and I think 12.5 pence per word. Now, and I said, well, I'd be 20, I'd be double your budget roughly. This is how much it costs you. And for 10,700 words, I think it was £2,140 plus VAT. Okay, VAT for anyone in America, if you don't know, we charge VAT, which is just our corporation tax, essentially. It's what we pay to the tax man. That's their little bit. And just be aware, I stuck to my guns at 20p, and here's why. He's come to me. If he's already got quotes at 10p and 12p, fill your boots. You've got people quoting you at that. Just because people are quoting him at this rate doesn't mean they are any good. So I tend to stick to my guns on that, and I will see, and I'll let you know if he comes back to me and says that he wants to book me. But it did make me think to break this down for you a little bit. Okay, so we've covered basic studio fee, and we've covered audio books potentially, and e-learning on a per word basis. Great. What if you're doing a radio drama? What if you have to now cost up on a per finished 10 minutes for a radio drama? I mean, some of these radio dramas that you may hear on the radio, very dumb, you might hear them going out and they're 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long. Well, you might have 2 or 3 lines in that. Well, what are you charging on that to go out? Well, again, that could break down into £10 per minute, £10 per 10 minutes. It can really vary, okay? I'm not going to break everything down for you, but what I am highlighting for you and encouraging you to go and look at is all the different things that voiceover can bring, voice acting can bring to your career, and do you actually know what the hell you charge for it? And if you don't, if you need to, do a quick calculation every single time someone actually comes to you asking about a job that you could fill quickly, it's in your best interest to understand what that marketplace is. Now, I'm not going to leave you in the lurch. There are places that you can go to. There are websites that highlight, I think Gravy for the Brain is quite a good one as well. It highlights what rates are for equity voices that are out in the market, people that are maybe a little bit represented. You can play about with those numbers, but they give you a baseline, if nothing else. If you are new into the industry, I'd probably pare it back just a little bit because you haven't got the bona fides to say you're going to charge top whack. But it is a good guideline. And if you haven't gone to one of these sites and found out what market rates are, and keep abreast of what the market rates are as well, because they do go down and they do go up, make sure that you're doing that. Because again, if nothing else, when you're on some of the pay-to-play platforms and you see a job that really should be £750 perhaps, being advertised at 100, work is work. I've always said that, but you know where you're playing in that market. I hope that's been helpful. I hope I haven't stressed you out too much. And if you have any questions, comments, you can drop them in the description box and I will respond ASAP. But yeah, if you've liked it and you're not stressed, give me a like and subscribe. And remember, you can be a voiceover artist. And I'll see you in the next video.